Welcome back to the third episode of the Wealth Blueprint Brick by Brick by the Sapphire Group, featuring Jessica and Marissa. Today we have a special guest, Kanesalingam, the CEO of Monakko Developments. Monakko Developments is a custom, unique boutique builder that focuses on building custom homes in a variety of GTA areas.
So hi, KJ. We're actually at 96 and 98 Bobmar Road, which was built by you, and they're absolutely stunning. But before this, it was actually one house. It was a bungalow. Can you kind of tell us how that came to be?
Once again, thanks for having me here. Before I get into the story of how one home became two, I just wanted to give a little bit of background about the company itself and what our vision is for the next little while. So we've kind of shifted our focus from custom homes into maximizing a client's value when it comes to their land. That's how we kind of ended up with this project. The owner was refused by another builder, saying that we can go ahead and build you a single dwelling and get you on your way, but that's not what the client wanted. At the end of the day, they had a vision in mind, but unfortunately, it couldn't be executed by that builder. And I kind of figured out as to what the builder's vision was as well. It was moreover, let's build, that single dwelling and kind of get the project over. They didn't really keep the client in mind, when they wanted to take on the project. So what we did was we looked at the lot, we took it to the city. We figured that it could be put into two lots, but however, it would take a longer period of time. So what we did was, we said we could do it, but of course promising them that it would take a little bit longer than they expected. So we looked at the survey. We had our consultants review it with the city planning staff at the city just to see what the outcome would be. And they said, with a little bit of money put into the project, they can get two lots. That's how we kind of got to 96 and 98 Bobmar. Some of the challenges that we encountered was, which changed now, but we had to pay about $150K in development fees.
Wow.
So
that's a lot of money.
That's definitely a lot of money, which the client was okay with because what they were getting at the end.
So can you kind of tell us why that was more? Because isn't development fees usually substantially lower than that? Why was it so expensive?
So at that point in time, they looked at what was going to be looked at in terms of density of the house coming in. So there's been severances in the area where it was 100 lots split into two, but because we're a little bit on the smaller scale when it comes to 37, by 109, 110, that was, one of the triggers for the cost being so high. And where, when they look at development fees, that comes around, the demographics in which part of the city it's in. So it might be substantially higher in certain areas or lower. So that, the city is currently looking at because of the housing crisis and how to, help these homeowners, support by, putting more houses on their lots or whatever the case may be.
So do you think the city is moving towards making, you mentioned that the city will be lowering development fees moving forward. Have you been seeing that in the other projects you've been taking on?
So as I said, we're in the custom home space. However, we are trying to maximize the client's vision. So we're still catering to the custom home clients, but we're also moving towards, for example, let's take this area into consideration. There's a lot of deep lots and a lot of potential in this area specifically, but it's really comes down to the builder's appetite if they're gonna go through that process, which is much longer. So I know I have a lot of builder friends. Each of us have different reasons why they're in the industry. Some builders, they just want to go take the project and turnkey within 6 months or even quicker. But that's not really maximizing the value of the lot. They just want to kind of take it from start to finish quickly, everybody gets a return, and then they're out. But what some builders are doing is moreover evaluating the lot, seeing what the benefits are for the builder and the client, and then taking it to the end goal. So I see the shift slowly moving into multi-units and garden suites, but of course, there's a different reason why, we should be kind of headed towards that way.
So if you can share with us, what are some main reasons why clients choose to build custom homes? And how do you kind of make them realize their unique vision? Because you talked a little bit about how, the previous builder didn't want to meet this investor and client's needs. So how do you do that?
So when it comes to meeting a client's need, it's always important to kind of have them a part of your initial conversations when it comes to architectural drawings, or I think that's the most critical component of any project when it comes to construction, because that not just dictates their vision, but it also dictates their budget. Mm-hmm. So a lot of clients, they come to me with their pain points as to, this builder is coming to me at a, cheaper cost or whatever, but they don't consider a lot of the finishes, and they don't consider what they're, where they're going to get kind of bit in the ass when it comes to, when it comes to finishing their project off, right? So going back to the client's vision, so in the architectural phase, what we look at is we hash through their wish list and what they want. We incorporate, how do they see themselves living in that house? Every single inch of the house should be kind of justified, or as to, how they see to kind of use that space, right? So we're heavy on the architectural part because of making sure that space doesn't become dormant. So we go through their wish list line by line. Some of them can be attained. Some of them, might not be, attainable in that project or in that space. But depending on, how we're going to get there, it is defined at the architectural phase. So that, once again, I really stress to the clients for them to be very, very invested, because down the line, once it's at the framing stage, to make changes, it's not impossible, but that's where a lot of clients burn their money. So no custom home, once again, should be alike, because if you're calling it a custom home, it should be tailored to the client's needs, right? One thing that I want to kind of call out is that, our architectural piece is not cheap. It's a package that, we offer to our clients. A lot of clients have asked me, there's other architectural firms that work with builders that can get you, the plans for, 1/4 of the price, but that 1/4 of the price is what you're going to get, and that's not the client's vision or what they want. So at the end of the day, it's you pay for what you get.
Yeah, of course. Like there's certain things in life you shouldn't cheap out on. And if you're building a custom home, you have a vision, you need to put the money necessary to bring that to life, right?
Exactly.
So what's next for Monakko Developments?
So I think to tie everything together, and I've kind of mentioned, there's two segments to Monakko. One being the custom home stream, which will always kind of, be there, but how we're, shifting and also kind of opening up another stream is moreover maximizing investors' lots or even clients. I've been getting a lot of calls around, garden suites and land severances is because, we have proof of concepts. We've done it before. We're continuing to do it. We have the right people at the table to kind of get it done. A lot of these, clients that are coming to me now where they've had, builders work on their projects where land severances could have been done. Mm-hmm. They're hitting themselves thinking, why wasn't it done or whatever the case is. But leaving that aside, I think a lot of investors who have that or have those lots that are available to them with the criteria that meets what the city guidelines are now, should definitely reach out and kind of see how we can kind of work with them in moving into the multi-unit and garden suite space.
That ties in perfectly with what we have as our next question for you. There's a huge issue with affordability and a housing crisis in Canada. So what's your take on this housing crisis, and how can you, as a custom home builder, kind of contribute to alleviating this issue?
So as a custom home builder, it's just, once again, maximizing the value of the client. Putting up more doors and units is what I would say. So in terms of looking at different lots, providing options to our clients at the end of the day, how can they benefit from the lot, and how can the city benefit in terms of finding homes for the individuals that are looking in terms of affordable housing or even rental units at the end of the day, right? So we have multiple projects in the pipeline right now that were single dwellings. We've got them rezoned. We've been granted the permits to go ahead and build more garden suites and more units. So I feel like that's how we'll be addressing some of the housing crisis components of the city. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna be very confident in making this statement is that we have the right individuals to get those clients that are looking to, jump into multi-units. And this is not like there's always, people saying, they've done it outside of the city, but we have the right people to get it done within the GTA, right? So we've done land severances. We're in the middle of, being one of the first ones to, deliver on a garden suite, as well in Scarborough. So, if you have those lots, then, we're there to kind of help you and guide you. So once again, I have a question for you guys. Being in the custom home space, you guys probably have a lot more, exposure and, ear to the ground with your clients. If they're looking for a custom home builder, what are they looking for?
I think every client is different. But people that are willing to pitch into a custom home, they have a vision in mind and they want someone that can execute that affordably. It doesn't matter how much money you have. You still want a deal.
Of course.
But you also want it done with, perfect finishes, someone that you can communicate with on a regular basis, someone that has like new and advanced ideas. Because if you're building this house and it's going to be done in the next 2025, it has to be 2025 design standards. It can't be 2024. We don't want the past, we want the future. And that's basically what we've gotten from our clients. A lot of people do want to maximize their spaces. So, garden suites, I think we did a video on that. That's big and huge for people because a custom built home also means a high mortgage, right? If you're not paying it out fully. And so how do you continue that? How do you create more space? If you're bringing in grandchildren and things like that, nanny suites, in-law suites, how do you incorporate that into your build is really what people ask us.
So just a follow-up question into that. I've been getting a lot of inquiries about, do I focus on one design or is there multiple designs or whatever the case is? Have clients spoken to you about the exterior design of buildings or are they more focused on the interior?
I think mostly people like the interior. I think they typically look to the builder to help them with the exterior finishes. I think it really depends on their journey and how far along, have they built a custom home before? I think if it's their first time, typically I've noticed it's more so about the interior space since that's where they're moving into. Obviously it's important that it's functional, but also aesthetically pleasing. But yeah, for instance, this home, you have it with ACM cladding. That's not something that you see every day. Why did you guys go about choosing that?
So that's a great question. So what I did there with the vision that I had was moreover bringing North York into Scarborough. If you see a house in North York with ACM cladding, that you will not see a house under $4 million. So it's more of a finer finish. A lot of my builder friends, once again, have asked me, why are you spending, X amount of dollars on, ACM cladding? Because it is costly and it's a 3-step process to just kind of get there. So people think of stone being an expensive finish. It is. There's steps to kind of get it refined and polished to, put up limestone or precast, whatever the case is. But along with that, even for this, there's a 3-step, there's a designing component, there's a measurement process, there's an installation, there's a fabrication process. So there are steps to kind of get it there, but it gives it more of a sleeker look. So I selfishly incorporated that, even though, I might not be seeing a return or whatever the case is when it comes to the finishes, but it's something that, I want to bring to, the larger audience when it comes to finishes, and allow them to kind of appreciate the finish that's there. Just another question that I wanted to talk to you guys about is a lot of the clients that are looking into home building right now and their dream homes, they're looking for, more, technology related finishes when it comes to, interior and exterior. But one thing that I still don't hear as much is, are you hearing more of Victorian traditional homes, or are people leaning towards more modern homes?
I'm going to say it depends on the person. But a lot of people that came to 96 and 98 Bobmar, whether they're like in the older generation or not, love the modern design. The floor plan is fully functional, and you've gotten so many compliments. We've had like so many people walk through this house loving the floor plans. And so I say, I'm more into modern, I think back in the day, but with current pre-construction models, and I have a pre-construction home, it's a very cookie cutter approach. And so you don't see the layouts outlined like this. You don't see the top finishes. You don't see, modern designs. It's all the same kind of thing, same color, same elevation, change it just a little, put in brick and make one Victorian kind just for people that like that. So I think custom homes and the way that you've kind of shaped these two houses is very different and eye-catching. And I think that's what people want.
What do you guys think about the windows and natural light?
Oh, that's probably my favorite part about this house. It brings, you don't see this often, right? Like floor to ceiling windows. It's amazing. It brings in warmth and also tons of light, both in the front and the back, and even in the bedrooms. They're very large, oversized windows.
Yeah, so that's also a costly touch to the houses. And like, I think every project that I've put out there, it being a client or an investor, I think the large windows has been a part of the journey, and I think it will still continue to bring in, a lot of sunlight into the house. I think we live in a I guess a country that has different seasons, and of course, everyone loves the fact that there's a lot of sunlight into the houses. So I think that's a big component for me. So I just wanted to hear your feedback when it comes to that.
Yeah, it supports with mental health and getting vitamin D.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you so much, KJ, for joining us today on our podcast. Make sure you follow Monakko Developments. It's at Monakko Developments on Instagram, so you can, watch their journey as they take on more and more exciting projects. And if you are interested in building a custom home, you can reach out to them or us using the link in the description below. And that's it. We'll see you on the next one.
Perfect.
Thank you so
guys
much,
for having me.
KJ.